Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Omega Insight. Today is March 8th. Thank you for joining me this evening. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and that your first day of the week was productive and enlightening. Little pun on the words for tonight. So, as I teased on Friday, the topic that I'd like to talk about tonight is the 7 steps to enlightenment, illumination. And these come from Torkom Saraydarian's book, his book, The Magnet of Life, Becoming a Magnet of Life. And Torkom Saraydarian, for those of you who don't know, was a teacher that lived up in Sedona, Arizona. He was passed away a few years ago, but he was very prominent, has written well over hundreds of books and pamphlets, had a great following up there. He's the first one that I heard refer to the concept of the ageless wisdom teachings. And the ageless wisdom teachings simply means teachings that have been throughout the ages, all ages. Now, as a side note, on my own personal journey, I've studied a great deal of different philosophies and dogmas and religions. And the thing that I came to discover is that many of the core beliefs were quite the same. Love, compassion, trust, integrity, truth, understanding, and the search for enlightenment or to grow. For example, in the Buddhist religion, they are searching for exactly what it's called, enlightenment. In the Judaic, they talk about the idea of receiving light from God. Jacob's ladder is a light of ladder. In Christianity, they call it the Holy Spirit, receiving. And it's often depicted in light. Now, light is very not something you can hold on to. I wanted to say fluid, but that doesn't even seem possible. It's penetrative. Penetrative? We'll make that word up. It penetrates everywhere. It extends everywhere. It travels the speed of light. It's very fast. Light throughout history has often been considered God, or receiving from God, the inner light which connects our soul to the greatness, whether you want to call it God, the universal truth, the universal connection, the great creator, your higher self, whatever you want to call it. There's something more than just this physical body. And we know that innately. We know there's something more than just this. And I've already spoken about the idea there's many levels to us. We have a physical, an emotional, a mental, and a spiritual level. So considering the idea that we're looking for light, the teachings say that we don't look out for light, that light has to be an inward journey. Prayer is a great example to go within and looking for, whether, again, you want to call it guidance, light. I want to stick with the word light because I like the idea of light and enlightenment, how they're connected together. You know, we think everything is energy. Everything vibrates. Everything is energy. Matter is energy. Well, light is energy as well. And I remember, I forgot to look this up, but I was watching on the History Channel a program where they talked about that as human beings, we actually output a great deal of energy. Like they could measure how much we're outputting with our thoughts and our presence. And I think that's important for us to recognize. Now, to connect this back, light is energy. Light is connecting to God, the great source, universal consciousness. Again, whatever terminology you want to use. I'm just going to call it God. That's what I grew up with. So God. And Torkom says that to know oneself is the process of becoming light, meaning connecting to God, the higher source that exists. Therefore, the journey is an inward journey. We have to journey within to get in touch with that light, that spark that exists within us. Alice Bailey used to talk about, the fan the flame of the spark that lies within. A leader's responsibility is to fan the flame of their students to spark and ignite that light so they become a brilliant source of light and make a contribution to the planet. Now, Torkom had 7 levels. He has 7 steps that he considered levels to illumination. Now, don't worry about writing any of this down. I'm actually going to make a meme and post it on Facebook for you guys, which I think Jen will probably send that over to Instagram, because I think we're still on Instagram. Now, the first one, here's 7 steps that he came up with. The first one is aspiration, like to aspire. So aspiration. And this is when Torkom describes this as when we're feeling empty inside and we know there's something more. We can't quite put our finger on it, but we know there's something more that we want to be, belong. Now, a lot of this probably many of you may have felt during COVID. We're not out and engaging, and our exterior life has become quite dormant. And then we start searching within because we feel that emptiness. We feel something needs to be fulfilling, and we started searching for it. And this is when we aspire to have a higher state of being, whether we watch more documentaries. As a matter of fact, I did read that a lot more people watch documentaries in the last year than I think they said over the last 10 years. There's been a lot more investigative thoughts. You know, there's only so much Netflix we can watch. And I love the History Channel, so I do like to watch a lot of that. And then, of course, documentaries, seeing what happened. I love the history because we learn what happened before and hopefully not repeat the same pattern. So again, number 1 is aspiration. Number 2, the second step is a state of concentration. So now that I'm aspiring and I want to learn that I've got what is it that I want, then I have to concentrate. And that means I'm focusing. So when we concentrate, we're narrowing our focus, we're narrowing our field to a point. And like you've heard, laser focus. So the concept is to focus in on what it is that I want and have clarity. And with focus, we need willpower to stay on focus and not be easily distracted. Squirrel. You could say that and everyone laughs because we all know what that means. So we have to go to concentration, leading us towards our goal. So we have a goal, an end goal. So let's just say our goal is to illuminate ourselves from within. So I'm aspiring. Now I know aspiration. I've set my intention is to illuminate. Then I have a concentration. Now I have to focus on, that's my goal. I start eliminating all the other stuff. I don't need to play solitaire. I don't need to read Harry Potter novels. You might want to, but we don't need to. We start focusing in on the things that'll get us towards our goal. The third step, I love this one, is meditation. I'm a huge fan of meditation. I love meditation. I strive to meditate every day. I used to do it twice a day, but now I'm down to just about once a day, once every other day. But meditation is so important. There are more benefits than I can describe, and I actually want to do a Omega Insight on meditation, so I won't go there. But the concept is meditation. Meditation is when we go inside and connect our head and heart. And I meditate on the things that I'm aspiring for and that I'm concentrating on. Meditation takes me inside to the inner path. That's what I'm looking for, that's the third step, is meditation. Now the fourth step is contemplation. Now I know this sounds a little similar to concentration and meditation, but contemplation is quite different. Contemplation starts with questioning. I contemplate. In Omega, we have an exercise where we would teach you to question certain things. We had a list of questions, and you question something. By questioning things, it leaves you open to possibilities. Instead of saying, I know, but to have that questioning position. So when I contemplate, I'm questioning the idea of illumination. What is it about illumination that I'm searching for? Why do I want to have illumination? What are the benefits of being illuminated? And by questioning, I start to purify myself and make sure that my intention is pure, that I don't want to be burning brilliantly to gather people and take all their money and be a false prophet. That we want to make sure that that's not what we're striving for. We want to have clarity and make sure it's pure. The heart of a server. That's really what I would go with. For me, personally, that's what I would go with. So I contemplate. Then the fifth step, now this is a little confusing, but the fifth step is the stage of illumination. And I want to just go to where he says, Torkom says, man becomes aware that he is a drop of light in the ocean. That's the fifth step. So I have aspiration, I have concentration, meditation, then contemplation. The fifth step is illumination. In other words, I become aware. Now, there is no way to explain what this means except for a state of awareness. If you've ever been in a state of awareness, you're hypersensitive to everything. And if you ever had those aha moments where all of a sudden, like we say, a light bulb goes on, we have this light bulb goes on and it floods our body and we're like, oh, and we get it. That's what this step is. Illumination is when we become, human beings, we become aware that we are a drop of light. It's not just saying the words, I'm a drop of light. It's not just, I am a drop of light, I am a drop of light. It's the actual acknowledgement and touching that idea that, wow, I am light. And having that awareness enter our consciousness. That is the fifth step. So that's illumination. The sixth step, I'm just going to turn the page here. My sixth step is a state of inspiration. Now, inspiration is beautiful. When I am inspired, I start to inspire others. That's what inspiration is. It becomes a divine source of power and energy that runs through me, inspires me to continue on, and that energy that runs through me attracts other individuals. And this is why it's called the magnetic, becoming a magnet, because our magnetic life, we attract. You know, you've been around people. I'll just use the word charisma. People who have charisma, there's something about them that draws you to their attention, that draws your attention to them. That's what the magnet is, and that's what being a state of inspiration is. It runs through us, and you know, when you've done something and you're inspired and you do it, and oh my gosh, that was great, and then you're inspired to do the next step, and then inspired to go to the next step, that's what inspiration is. It's a life all unto itself. The seventh step, the very last step, this is called identification. That's when you identify your connection to the light, God, and love is involved. So with identification, we have that sense of love that streams through us. And I want to just read what he wrote here too, because this is very important. He says, the man, we'll say human, becomes one with the will of God. The lover and the lover become one, and man reaches his divine source of light. God is light, and there is no more darkness. That's what the seventh step is. Identification. I become one. I become light. That's really what it is. I become light. So I've now identified with what I've been striving for, and I am filled with, the Catholics used to say, filled with the Holy Spirit. I am filled with that. I know the Mormons, they practice, when they do the men put the hands on the person who's receiving, so they want to send and receive the light. So I am filled. My cup is filled. My cup overfloweth. I am channeled. And as I said, in Judaic religion, Judaism believes that they receive light from God. So they have to empty and clear their vessel to receive light from God. That's the concept of illumination. Again, I'm using the word God because that's the word I resonated and grew up with, but you can use this as the source, the universal consciousness, the light, awareness, whatever word works for you. I'm completely not attached to that. I am, though, wanting to inspire us to want to strive for enlightenment. What are the benefits of enlightenment and illumination? Well, as a matter of fact, I forgot to mention this. Back in the old days, they used to call them the Illuminates, the carriers of light. is what that culture or that sect was. That's the idea, to carry forth light and bring light into the darkness. Now, I look at the planet and I see lots of anger, not just in the United States. Myanmar has got violence happening everywhere. Nicaragua, they're kidnapping school children. Russia, there's riots in the streets. Poland has had uprising. It's like the world is upsetting, and there's a lot of violence and anger and upset. And then look at the planet itself. Mount Etna has been erupting. I know there's another mountain volcano. I'm not sure where it's at, but and then there's been continuous earthquakes and tsunamis that have been excuse me, mana. But there's been Mother Earth, it appears, is also upset or maybe responding to the anger that's surrounding or emanating on our planet. And that's why I think it's important now more than ever for us, those who are seeking to become light, to strive for it. This is a perfect time to start being beings of light, of compassion, not when the comments on social media, commenting of love and light, not of retaliation and upset and angst and but to just be of love and compassion, or don't even comment. Just place it someplace else. Put your attention someplace else. These are the things that would be very beneficial for our planet right now. Not only for our planet, but also for the human race. Us as a human race. And I keep laughing to my husband and saying, floods, fire, famine, anger, where's the UFOs? They're coming. Because maybe they'll come and save us. But thank you. Again, thank you for joining me this evening. As I said, I'm going to put together this on a meme, and I'll post it up on Facebook. I'm not sure I'll get it to tonight, but hopefully I'll get it for tomorrow. So I really appreciate you joining. I also thank you for sharing this journey with me and allowing me to share these topics with you. I want to just do a quick little review of the 7 steps. It's aspiration, concentration, meditation, contemplation, illumination, inspiration, and then finally identification. Those are the 7 steps. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you on Friday, the 12th, for a quick little coffee talk. And don't forget gratitude on Wednesday. Have a beautiful, wonderful week this week. I hope that you start your journey for illumination, and send us a note if you have any notes or comments, or if there's any other topic you'd like me to address for this month as well. Have a wonderful evening. Bye now.